Down goes Bama. The number one team in the nation falls at Kyle Field to the Aggies. How sweet it is. I picked the Aggs to lose, but it's never felt so good to be so wrong. But we talked about this. We talked about how the Aggs had the sky as the limit. It just depended on what they wanted to do in practice, what corners they wanted to turn, and what amount of execution they wanted to take into this game. It just really had all to do with them playing themselves and realizing that you're playing another team, but you have to beat yourself first before you can beat another team. And that's what accomplished. That's what they accomplished this week. It came down to execution. It came down to playing in the moment, who wanted it more. And what can I say? What a moment. Hell of a day. To be at that game and experience that, I cannot fathom this. I'm still processing. I can't remember a bigger game that was won at Kyle Field. I was there for the 7 overtime game as well. And yes, that was a huge game. It changed rules, but it wasn't beating the number one team. It wasn't that big win that they've been saying we've been trying to get at Kyle Field. Yeah, we beat number 5 Florida last year, but still, this is bigger than that. Tell me what you think. Do you know other games at Kyle Field that we've played that have been bigger and we've won? There are a few maybe that come to mind, but I'll leave it to y'all to let me know what those are, because this was a big one, and I'm not sure there's a bigger one, but I'd like to recap all the other ones that we've had as well. Even thinking about Bonfire game, winning against Texas. Again, it wasn't beating the number one team, so it's maybe kind of in a category of its own, but it's still up there. And this game was incredible, just incredible. The back and the forth and leading. We're going to get into some of the stats, and we're going to talk about all the amazing things that happened in this game. But first, I'd like to take a second to recap a few things that took place over the last week that contributed to some of this and my outtake and reaction. Because if you followed along with anything, you certainly saw the reaction that Bear and Kirk Herbstreit and part of the Game Day crew had in their ride-along or whatever it was that they were doing. And they had a few things. Let me show you a little bit what that looks like, and we can get a little reminder real quick.
What was the last big game A&M won?
They won the overtime.
But I'm talking about, we brag about Kyle Field like 12 man.
Never.
Bear.
Never. No.
Like R.C. Slocum?
Before that, probably Jackson.
Why do we build it up, though? It's like, I'm saying, is it an intimidating environment?
You would think it is. The stadium is, but they don't seem to win big games.
So to me, this is a lot like when the Cowboys came looking for Wyatt Earp right after he had left Tombstone with his brother Virgil after the Cowboys had killed Morgan. So y'all want to talk about this? You want to call out the 12th man? You better be careful. Here's my message to you. All right, Kirk, you called down the thunder. You got it? You see that? That says we beat number one. Take a good look at it, Bear, because that's how it ended up. The tide were rolled. Do you understand me? Now you go back to game day and you tell them the Aggies are coming. Every last one of us is coming, and hell's coming with us. You hear me? Hell's coming with us. All right, now with that being said, let's get to some of the numbers in this game. Some of them are pretty special. First number is 4. Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, and A&M. A&M's the 4th team to beat Bama twice in the last decade. 0, as in 0 sacks and 0 QB hurries this game. That'll come back to tell the tale of how the offensive line will be graded. 15. It's been 15 games since Alabama has been behind in a game. 15. That's all the way back to 2019. 50 minutes, 19 seconds. That's how long the Aggs led in this game. Out of 60 minutes, we led for 50 minutes and 19 seconds. You've probably heard this number. You need to hear it again. 24. It's been 24 attempts at beating Saban. Lucky number 25 is the one. The first Nick Saban assistant, Jimbo Fisher, takes him down. 58. That's our next number, 58. Aggs ran 58 plays to Alabama's 82. Huge disparity there. Huge disparity. So talk about the efficiency of our scoring offense this game versus all the other games that we played. Let's get into a few of the stats now. Zach was 21 of 31, about 64%. Completion rate, he went for 285. 3 TDs, 1 INT, and he had an average of about 9.2 yards per attempt. A chain housed 1 for 96 yards. You saw that. That was right after the punt block for a touchdown. What an answer. Huge answer. 9 tackles for Hansford and O'Neal. They led the team in tackles. Hansford, along with Andre White, just behind O'Neal with, I believe, 8 tackles, were our top 3 leading tacklers. So our top 3 leading tacklers, 2 of those were linebackers. Big shout out here, Tyree Johnson and Clemens combined for 3 sacks, 4 QB hurries, and 3 tackles for loss. These guys ate all day long. And last but not least for our highlighted stats, Seth Small, 5 for 5, 38-yard long field goal, 11 points in this game for him, and 1 game winner. What a day. What a day. Let's take a look at the film and see exactly how we got it done. All right, if you notice nothing else about this clip, you're going to see a clean pocket. It's great protection. There was a stunt down there. Did you see it? Clean pocket. Calzada stays in, delivers a strike. First down, huge play. Look at Demas. Proud of this guy right here. He's coming for you, baby. It is just amazing what you can do when you've got time. Here we see the offensive line manning up, playing physical, staying on their blocks. Calzada stays in as well. He feels safe in the pocket now, delivers the strike to Weidemeyer. Huge game for him. He has corrected a lot of his mistakes on his drops. Credit to him because he made some big plays, and this was one of them. He takes this for at least 25, and he's looking for contact. He wants it. He wants it so bad, and I just love it. And I love to see it from this entire team. You could just see the confidence in Calzada with his offensive line providing the protection that they are. They know their assignments. They're on their block. He doesn't look near as jittery. He looks way more confident and decisive. He decides to get outside just a little bit. Delivers a beauty to Weidemeyer for the touchdown. Right here is when we went up for the largest portion of the game, and we held this lead till just about 5 minutes left in the fourth. Okay, so you see us having a nice flare over to the side. One of the big differences in this game were the holes that our offensive line was open up for people like a chain Spiller to run through. And this is just a gash. 1st and 10, we run for 11. Look at the penetration that they think they get. What we do is we start and make this play look like a run play with the run blocking. Anais slips by, touchdown. All right, now on defense, what you're going to see here is an area where we've made a lot of improvement and where we still can make some improvement here. But watch the coverage. 7's on his guy. The zone's working really well. We're not leaving anybody completely uncovered except for Mechie down on the bottom side. We had a good break on him, and what we tried to do here is prevent a lot of big plays from happening, I think, throughout the game. We did that in large part, but there was still a few mistakes. They get a lot of penetration on this play to our left side. I think Hansford meant to take a little bit wider angle. He wants to get around that defensive end, that blocker, so that he can seal that edge. So now here we are, 3rd and goal. And it's these little things that are taking place here. And so you see us just battling. You got Damani down here, excellent coverage, gets a hand on the ball just so he can get a quick tip. Works out that he gets the interception, brings it out 1 yard, and saves the touchdown and or any points. Just look at this, how he's battling with his arms here. So one of the things that particularly Bama likes to do, they're so physical, and they will get their hands on you, and it is important to battle against them being able to do that and kind of control you. And so knocking their hands down off of you at any chance is key. All right, we got a lot of pressure all day, and you can see Tyree Johnson and Clemens just swamping the area, and together these Smash Brothers just really have no mercy. and they took no prisoners against Bama on Saturday. Right here, you're going to see even more pressure. So Leon O'Neal is creeping up. There's just too much coming inside with Peavy. O'Neal takes a great job and just nearly clotheslines Bryce Young. I'm imagining he's going to end up having a few nightmares about all the pressure that he was seeing on Saturday, something he didn't quite expect, I think. Okay, another theme in this game is going to be blocking. Watch Watermeyer on the bottom side of the screen. So on the right side of the line, he's going to come over. They come with a blitz. He's going to do just enough right here to get a little bit of a chip, reroute that guy so Calzada can at least get this pass off. He throws a beauty to a chain up the left side for a catch. Just amazing. Okay, so we had a different offensive line going on in this game. You got to see Kenyon Green on the left side there. Now she's going to go one-on-one. Of course, it's a great move by Spiller in the end, but 55 at the top of the screen is just going to continue to keep battling and battling and battling. This was something where you can see the physicality that we had throughout the entire game, where we just did not let up. And it just kept on going. It was relentless, to say the least. And this is what happens when you get with this type of work. You're going to, look, I mean, Kenyon's 10 yards down the field making a block at this point. It's just excellent work. All right, time for position grades. So let's start off with QB, Zach Calzada. I give this an A. I don't see a way to get into the B's after this, to be honest. He did throw the one INT, or I'd probably give him an A+. Much improved game. Like I said, he went 21 for 31, nearly 300 yards, 3 TDs. Excellent game from him. The running backs was probably the most difficult position for me to grade because they didn't have the yards they might normally have had. Didn't quite get the same number of touches either. They really did a great job of doing their job. Nothing spectacular there. They, like I said, did what was required. I'm going to say B+ here. Let me know what you think. If you see something different, maybe you think that it ought to slip up into the A range. I have no problem with that. As for the wide receivers, I'm going to go with an A, solid A, not an A-. I think they were much improved. The blocking was better. The catching was obviously better. Watermeyer did a much better job. Demas got involved, and Ias was a pass catcher. So I think I'm going to go with an A for sure on them. Special teams, and this was a little bit back and forth. They had a high point, a low point. The low point was obviously the blocked punt for a touchdown. But the high point was immediately following that with the kickoff return for a touchdown. I'm going to go with B+. And I kind of want to slip that into an A maybe, but I'm going to stick with the B+. The reason I want to get into an A is because of the game-winning kick. And if it wasn't for that, we probably don't, obviously we don't win this, right? So that was clutch. Not to say we wouldn't eventually, but we needed that, and that's what we got from so small. So I'd have no problem with an A- here as well. As for the O-line, A+. Excellent work. A+ all around. I don't think we had really a busted coverage all day long. We're talking about against Bama. We gave a pristine pocket to Calzada all day long, and I think this was mainly the difference in the game. We were able to control drives in large part, keep our defense off the field, rested. Just huge, huge, huge day from them. Defensive line, as I alluded to earlier, Tyree, Johnson, and Clemens were huge. They were disruptive all day long. Rakes did an excellent job in the middle. Peavy also excellent job, and these guys just were just rocks right in the middle all day long. So I give the defensive line an A. Linebackers, A. I thought maybe B+ on this one. They did much better. One thing that I think got me into the A range on this one is because our top 2 out of 3, O'Neal was the second place tackler, if you will, for leading in tackles. But Hansford and Andre White led us in tackles. And so having 2 linebackers there, I think that was huge for our team. Not having these cornerbacks as our leading tacklers or safeties, so big deal. And the big thing for me on the DBs is just simply we're giving up a lot of space. We're giving up a lot of easy throws. There's some high points. I see Jalen Jones making a lot of progress, but in the end, we are still giving up quite a bit of yardage there. And so I think Bama threw for like 350 yards on us, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're just going to need to clean that up. But overall, our coverage scheme was better. We knew where we needed to be in large part, and we got there. So I'm going to go with a B- here. Overall, for our offense, A. This was an A effort. I don't think there's any way to get it into the B range. It's just an incredible effort by QB, especially O-line. Running backs were solid, and so were the wide receivers. So I've got to put this as a solid A. Defense, I'm going to do A-. I think if it wasn't for the cornerback situation and just how much yardage we gave up there, and just in the secondary in general, I'd maybe consider the middle grade of an A, possibly even an A+, since we were basically A's across the board on the defense. So A-, 2 excellent solid grades, and A on offense, A on defense is what was needed for us to be able to take down a number 1 team. And this is how we can play. This is what we can do. This is what we've talked about. This is what we kind of need to know. This is what the guys need to know, how they can play, and stop thinking about what their potential is and be their potential. If they want to go and continue to have success the rest of this year, this is what it's going to take. Being prepared, playing physical, executing, being motivated. Sky's the limit for this team. It really is. So they've seen it, they've tasted it, now they know. We have Missouri coming up. We're going to need to do the same thing. We should go out and make a statement. Is this just a one-off? Did we get lucky? You know, what's the narrative going to be? I think that this team can play like this week in and week out. This is what we've been waiting on, for that switch to flip. I've always maintained that I thought that it could do that. You know, we just weren't seeing it on the field. And I'm so glad it happened here and now. Maybe that's what it took. But in large part, you know, we've been having so much trouble on the offensive line because we haven't had consistency there. So as I've looked at these plays, and as you do too, if you want to go back and watch them again, think about like what you see that we've done and what's, say, repeatable and what's not repeatable. What do you think that essentially you can kind of say that we got lucky on? Like, what were the plays that we got lucky on? What are the things that we can't really do again, or just were really low percentage plays? You know, are we going to get a kickoff return again? Probably not. Are we going to give up a blocked punt again? Yeah, again, probably not. So you have some give and take that's going on there. Like the throw to a chain down the sideline, and a number of the other throws that Calzada threw. I mean, 3 or 4 excellent clutch throws. I think he can do these week in and week out. A lot of the stuff that we did was just execution, knowing where to sit down in the zone, blocking your guy, staying on your guy, reading where the blitz is coming from, not giving away our blitz so that they know how to pick us up. I don't see anything, maybe say a couple things, whatever. One, you know, just a minor few things that we will just be able to continue to do so long as we provide and we have good practice. Jimbo said on Wednesday that we had a good practice, and that's when things started to shift for me a little bit, especially in my group, when we were talking about this game. When I heard that we were having good practices, it started making me think, well, we might can cover the spread. And then as that went on, as we got to actually see the practice, because we're not behind the scenes, we don't get to see the practices and get to see what the difference is that's going on there. When we saw the first drive, you could tell something was different. Everybody knew it. And even if you paused, like myself, during the game, you said, okay, well, look, it's just one drive. I'll wait for the next one to see if we can do it consistently. We did. That's the point here. What can we do consistently week in and week out? And we can play like this week in and week out. It's just a decision. They're playing against themselves every week, not playing against the other team. They're playing against their potential. You can either have potential, or you can either be the potential. That's what this is about. So they're learning to be their potential and not have it unrealized. And so that is essentially what we're up against. All right, so final thoughts. I want to do this little segment. I want to give helmet stickers away. A little, virtual helmet sticker for who I think were the players of the game, I'm going to first go with a chain. That kickoff return is something we don't see very often, especially in this day and age. 96 yards, an answer to a huge play. When they were taking back momentum, we fired right back and took it back immediately. That's why that goes to a chain. Next up, offensive line as a unit. We could not have asked for more from them out of this game, in my opinion. This is what we have been asking for, what we've known they can do. And with even a little bit of mix-up this game, I'll even point out just one player who's been plug and play the entire time, Trainer, played one hell of a game. We got 2 freshmen on there, Layden Robinson and Kenyon moving back out to left tackle. These guys did a stellar job on Saturday, and I think enabled us to do what we did, and will enable us to be the team that we want to be throughout the rest of the season, and hopefully realize what the full potential of this team actually is. So that one goes to the offensive line. Last one, you know where it goes. You know, Zach Calzada. This guy gets knocked out of the game. We go on defense, he comes right back out, and he does not miss a beat. The guy has showed progress every week. Even when it's looked small, it's been there. But this was his most improved game, and he deserves this more than any. Amazing game from him. So, you got helmet stickers? Tell me who you'd give them to. Who were your players of the game? What were your game grades? Tell me in the comments. Love to hear them. And again, if you haven't yet, go back over and watch that play as many times as you can. It's going to be rerunning in my house until next Saturday when we play Missouri. So catch the preview for Missouri coming out tomorrow. And until then, gig 'em.